actually. Let me just pour my coffee in here.
And we are live with some ASMR coffee
Ooh,
noises.
coffee.
Hi, everybody.
Already hot.
Welcome to TVI episode 169.
1669.
The King of Edinburgh.
The Queen is dead. Long live the King.
Long live
Vittorio.
King
Angeloni
Vittorio.
returns.
Hello.
TVI is so hot, even our producer gets nominated.
Everything
We're
we
on
touch,
fire.
Everything we touch turns to gold. Apart from our personal lives. Which they turn to shit. The moment you left for Edinburgh, our lives fell apart.
TVI is so hot right now.
Anyway, welcome back to the hot desk.
The King is back.
Obviously, we'll talk. I mean, there's big things to talk about this week on this week's episode. Vittorio's triumph in Edinburgh. The Queen dying is obviously another thing we'll probably cover. And anything else? That's mainly the big things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Any other big news? There's been no other news,
What
has
about
there?
the war?
I mean, there is loads of
How's
news.
the war going?
Oh, that's this going well, apparently.
Oh.
Yeah, apparently Ukraine are about to fucking smash it.
Yeah,
Go on,
so
guys. Russia are retreating.
they were just waiting. The Queen dying's really giving them that lift. So he's pumped them up. But yeah, we'll get into all this. Let's talk. But actually, I'll tell you what, we got you a little gift, Vittoria.
Oh, that's so sweet.
We bought you a bottle of champagne.
Oh, fuck
there
off.
we go.
Oh.
To celebrate your victorious debut Edinburgh show.
You got to drink it now.
You got to down it, and then tell us who's a cunt in Edinburgh. Imagine that. Yeah. It's no.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. That's really
It's all
kind.
right, no worries, mate. It was very it was nice to because it was that thing where I was you're obviously out of the loop from Edinburgh when you're not there, but even more so this year because I wasn't really paying attention to it 'cause I had
Yeah, stuff
more
going.
things going on. But it was that nice thing where every now and again when I would engage, open Twitter, have a look around, it was nice to see yourself doing very well. There was other nice people like Jordan Gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gigged with Jordan a few times probably in the last 6 months, and like she literally took the place apart. Like it's more. I remember I had to follow her at a gig in Essex in a festival-y gig, and I just watched literally people on their feet, and I was like, "This is different, isn't it? It's next because obviously it's musical and it's big and it's But
Get
so
some Bristols out as well.
so yeah." Bristols. I've not heard that in about 25 years.
Yeah, Bristol City.
So it's nice to see names doing well that I was like, oh, that's, it's good to see nice people doing well.
Well, it
Yeah,
was nice.
Sean Walsh nomination.
And obviously Walsh, it was,
Yeah, man.
it's a lovely sort of redemption. I know it sounds weird to even say it like
But
that,
it
innit?
is. Yeah.
I was really pleased, man. Yeah.
Because obviously his that Kiss
Not as pleased as
special.
if it was me, but
Because the irony is the show he did, Kiss, which obviously it wasn't called Kiss when it was in Edinburgh, was it? I can't remember, was it? But,
it wasn't, but I can't remember what it was called.
But that was such a brilliant show. But he hated doing it so much. 'Cause he was still going right through it.
Yeah.
And but it was genuinely one of the best shows. It was probably the best show I saw that Fringe. Very personal. With Sean really going into it, and because he's always done observational stuff that is sort of about his life. But he sort of kept his life a bit at arm's length, hasn't he? So, but see him using them skills he's got to dive into
it was
being
great,
personal.
wasn't it? Yeah.
That was brilliant. And then I think this one is like, he's taken that sort of newfound sort of area he's inhabiting, and he's gone fucking right into it. So it was excellent to see him, and also to be doing a personal show that also he felt happy being up there and doing it.
Yes.
That was a lovely thing to see. So yeah, it was nice. It wasn't just a series of wankers. But
Getting critical acclaim.
but that was another thing. Because I don't read reviews when I'm up there, but you still see them everywhere. You see 4 stars, 5 stars on posters. When you're not there and you don't read reviews, you literally have no idea what's going on. I was basing it purely
reading
on
the reviews and
Were you?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Every August, I just click on it, and just
Yeah.
have a little butchers. At
But do you
people I know.
read them to sort of see? Oh, that's
I
a
don't.
nice
I don't
review,
actually
or do you
read the
them?
whole thing. I'm more. If it's someone I know, I'll read it.
Right.
Or I'll look at this. I don't know.
What was
I
the-
definitely have a look every day.
What was the caliber of review this year? Good, bad.
I don't know. What do you mean? Like, was there
Were
a
they
lot?
well written? Were they badly informed? Yeah, I'd never know.
There's a couple of real nasty ones.
They-
Was there?
Yeah,
Totally
Can we talk? Can we
Well,
I
name?
find them quite biased to their if
Yeah.
the reviewer agrees with their opinion.
Yeah.
That's what seems to be the vibe.
Yeah.
Not are they funny or not.
No,
It's more like are they
struggle to-
politically on the same side
Yeah.
as the reviewer?
It'd be like reviewing a restaurant and being like, well, I don't like chicken.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
a vegan reviewing the fucking
And that ain't the-
Aberdeen Angus steakhouse.
Exactly.
Well, it's not for me.
That's not the job, is it? I
No,
wouldn't have thought. It's not
taking yourself out of
journalism.
it. No,
It's
Well,
not,
yeah.
but I do think they have to put a bit of opinion in it. They're not just robots. I will
No.
say, I've always been like, it's like when you read, weirdly, I read your theatre review because you read the Metro on the tube or something. And like, I think theatre reviewers often do that thing of, they obviously have more to work with as well. They got production and they've got, it's a cast. They can
Yes, they can
individually review
separate it-
cast.
separate
So
it
they
out
have
a
to
bit.
talk about the actual production and then they can talk about their opinion of the show. So they, I
Yeah.
suppose, have a slightly easier job than comedy, whereas most comedy shows are just basically a person on stage talking. So I do think it leaves it more up to the opinion of the reviewer. So I do think comedy reviewing is more biased and more.
But I think they can lose a
subjective.
star if they're not aligned with the same
Yeah.
political
But isn't that
ideologies.
because that's the reviewer should
But I
holds
it
that power
depend-
by being a reviewer,
I
but not
suppose-
power. I don't mean power, but I mean that's their prerogative, isn't
It
it?
depends, I suppose, what
That's
like
their
a
right.
comedy, an Edinburgh show's supposed to be.
But if you don't like that, you be a reviewer then. That's my thinking. That's why I don't read reviews because I think the moment you start
I do
thinking
think
like
they're a
that,
little
then
bit-
you're giving them more.
I got
Wait,
very
then
upset.
you
by
actually-
my first one, I got very upset by. And
Who
it was the three. It was
who was it by?
Scotsman Jay Richardson.
Right.
And
4 stars, Julian Deane.
in hindsight, he was right about a lot of stuff, and that stuff improved over the first week. And he saw
Right.
it on day 2,
Right. Yeah.
which
yeah,
I
yeah.
did say he could
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you just want to get them in.
Yeah.
And I'd previewed it loads, but like a lot of that stuff really ironed itself out in the
yeah.
first week. Like, because I remember you said to me before I went up, you were like,
Don't go.
"Oh, it."
Don't do that show you're doing. Hey.
Oh, you're doing that. Have you paid for the venue and all that?
But you were like, "It'll change over the first week."
Oh yeah.
Loads, and I was like,
First
"Oh my
week is
God."
where it changes more than the last 5 previews. Like,
Yeah.
But
suddenly everything just goes, oh, that goes there,
Yeah.
that goes there.
I added a line on the last day. Like I was constantly tweaking and working on it. And like in hindsight, it probably was a 3-star show when he saw it. But I think there was so much tension about what that first review was
Yeah.
gonna say.
You got it
was
down
like-
to 2 at the end, did you?
Yeah.
I read like a 1.
Yeah, it's a. But that's what I mean. I think I think people sort of toss and turn about, but they're taking a star because of this or that or that. And
Yeah.
I think if you're gonna read it, you've got to accept that's their opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
all it
And
is.
it don't mean nothing.
I
Ultimately.
do accept it's their opinion. I just think that they're wrong.
Yeah, that's
well.
fine.
But
Yeah.
that's what was interesting and helpful with that is in the same batch of reviews that he did, there was people who he reviewed really well that I'd seen the show and was like,
I mean,
"Oh, I didn't
dog
think
shit.
that was great."
Yeah.
And you just like that clarified.
He's
it as,
generally
like,
okay, I think.
Oh no, he
Jake,
seems like
yeah.
a good guy, but I was just like, "Oh, that it is just his opinion because I disagree about that."
Yeah.
That's
cool.
only because he gave me a good review. Like, if he hadn't, you know what I mean?
He's
It's so.
generally spot on.
yeah. It's funny when you hate someone. Like I did it the other day. I was like slagging someone off. They were like, "Oh, he was saying how much he really liked you." I was
Oh no.
yeah, he's all right actually. I'm genuinely like, he's all right. He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
My least favorite in reviews is when they just tell the whole story of the show.
Or when they just actually put a punchline in it.
They did
Yeah.
that.
That's what I heard a few people this year. I don't know what reviews it was.
The very
but a few people-
experienced reviewers.
A few
Jay did
people
that.
were doing like, don't put actual jokes in the review.
Jay did
So it
that in mine. It wasn't like the actual point, but it was the whole premise.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
weird
yeah,
they
yeah.
And
do
but
that
it was
because he's
like-
experienced. He should know better.
Yeah.
Quote
Yeah.
a joke.
I just but then the ones who just go like, and then they talked about this, and then they talked about this, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
why? That's
Maybe-
not what you're supposed to be doing.
Maybe he'll
Yeah.
be looking back over them early reviews. He was like, "Oh, it was early in the Fringe. I was messing
Yeah.
up." like you're doing. By the end of the Fringe, he was up in his stride. He wasn't putting
Yeah.
jokes in.
Someone should review the reviewers as well.
Me and Chris Martin once did a end of festival 2-night live show called "We Review the Reviews," and we
good
got
idea.
it was us and a comedian, and a reviewer going through the best and worst reviews of the month, like the funniest, the harshest. And it was me, Chris, and one night we had Acaster and Julia Chamberlain. And another night,
she gave me a nice one. I don't have a bad word to say about.
Well, I mean, I'm very good friends with Julia.
It was good. It was good.
But this was probably before me and Julia became friends.
Yeah.
But her and Acaster had a real ding dong because she was reviewing for Chortle that year. I think Chortle, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But basically, she'd been quite critical of quite a lot of shows. Yeah. And then Acaster said, like, what's the best stuff you've seen this festival? And she said, to be honest, I've not really enjoyed a lot of comedy this year. I've been enjoying more theatre. And Acaster was like, well, if that's the headspace you're working in at this festival, that's not fair on the comedians. Just stop reviewing comedy then and go and see theatre, because obviously that's currently what you're into. And they had a bit of a ding dong. But the other night was Kate Copstick and I can't remember the comedian we had in the hot seat. But it was really fun. It was we just thought it'd be a laugh, and it ended up being quite heated,
quite aggy,
because we were just reading out funny quotes from really bad reviews and stuff. But yeah, it was a fun idea actually. Maybe it's something to be rehashed next year.
Yeah, Bennett gave someone a really nasty one this year.
Did he? Who was it?
Unfair. It was for Patrick Spicer, who's great.
So I know I've met Patrick Spicer.
He's great.
Young. Was he doing a debut? Because he's newish.
I don't know if it was his debut, but he might be one of those that would have debuted in the past, because he's been going a little bit longer than me. But
I gave him pre-COVID, but I think he'd sort of it felt like he'd been one of the newer crop.
And he's really kicked on, and he's brilliant. But Bennett just tore into him for being like, he's standard like t-shirt white male comic talking about therapy and anxiety.
That's you want him to wear a suit of armour or something.
He was like,
everyone wears t-shirts.
And he was like, anyone else's bingo card full yet? When he was talking about the topics he was covering, I'm like,
right.
It's not about necessarily like he's just talking about his life.
What topics were those?
So like having anxiety, going to therapy,
right?
Masculinity, stuff that would affect a young man.
Yeah, I suppose
that's what I mean with that reviewer though. And
I suppose that is the problem. That's not the comedian's problem as such. That's the zeitgeist problem. Yeah. It's the problem that the world is affecting everyone the same now, because the world is like a fucking globalized monolith. That's a issue with society, not on the comedian.
It's also relatable to people in the audience, isn't it? Like,
you've just got grape juice.
I know.
Oh no!
Oh fuck!
Very sexy.
Looks like you've been bleeding, mate.
These red things are nice.
Yeah, they're nice, aren't they? Do you want a grape?
I would love a grape.
Yeah. Have a couple. I've got a mixed bit bunch this episode. But yeah, that's a funny one. That I do find.
Where if it's kind of certain subjects that's like the topic of the day.
But they are the topics of the day, aren't they? I thought everyone's wanking on about ADHD and stuff like that now. I thought everyone.
Yeah. For him to say white man as well, like.
Yeah, but there was a really.
Not that I'm fucking like.
But also, and this is again, I'm saying this to somebody who hasn't read the review. I don't know what the standard form was, but I don't think Bennett should. If you're just, it's like Bennett saying there's another white male comedian doing this.
It's another white man reviewing.
That's the equivalent of like people that move into like white middle class professionals moving to Brixton and going, oh my god, man, it's so white round here now, isn't it? It's like, you fucking caused that, you wanker.
Yeah.
It's like when an audience member comes up and goes, tough crowd. You're like. You.
Yeah.
Fucking donut.
Sitting there staring at me the whole fucking set.
Yeah, they're a bit weird, aren't they?
What? You were them.
Yeah. It's the classic sort of, I don't think Bennett would be doing it consciously, but it's like a little, you're trying to parry away the criticism that you're a middle-class white bloke.
It just means the race is constantly on his mind as well. So isn't he by default a little bit racist, looking around judging people by colour?
No, but I'm not even thinking about it.
If he's judging a white guy, then that means he's judging the guy's black as well. You know what I mean? It's he's seeing it everywhere.
Yeah, of course, because he's a middle-class white person in art criticism. You know what I mean? He is ultimately...
Put that out.
He's probably hyper-aware of these things. He doesn't realise he is, but...
It's because he's trying hard, because really his internal monologue is chatting racist shit all the time. So he has to point the finger outside.
All he ever hears in his head is black guy, Indian guy.
Yeah.
It's just noise, constant.
That's true. So he has to point the finger outside and tell other people you know what I mean?
I don't know if that's true. I just think it is that thing of anyone in the arts you know, like especially, you know, if you're a middle class reviewer, you know, you work in criticism. That's the most middle class job in the world.
But they don't like calling themselves critics, do they? They prefer reviewer.
Well, they can call themselves what they want. I don't know what the official right word is.
Yeah.
I've only had good reviews off him, by the way, but I've got no dog in the fire.
I just think, you know, it is that they constantly are trying to see everything in the context of everything. So I think again that is part of the problem with the landscape rather than them as individuals.
Yeah,
they see they almost feel like they have to mention it in the context of what's going on, rather than just go in and see.
But the only thing going on
all
is
that matters is
people...
this 1 hour. Let's watch it in like. It's impossible for them to see it.
Well, that's why all that like meta anti-comedy gets reviewed really well towards the end of the Fringe, because the reviewers are sick of stand-up.
Yeah.
That's a good
like,
observation.
So stuff that comments on stand-up because they're like just submerged in stand-up the whole
Yeah.
Like somebody going, hey, isn't it weird when stand-ups do this? They're like, yes, I've been watching that all month, but it's not actually relatable.
But there is,
to the
I mean,
public.
I suppose it's that funny thing with like certain anti-comedy, and you know, I do think I'm always super suspicious of anti-comedy unless it's done really well. So someone like Sam Campbell is a good example of somebody who does it well.
He could do comedy.
Because he can do comedy, sometimes you see somebody doing anti-comedy and you're like, you're doing this because you can't do comedy.
Yeah.
You know?
You can't do funny comedy.
But with someone like Sam, he's fucking just funny. He's got funny bones.
Well, it's like, I think Picasso had to prove that he could draw a person that looked like a person.
Yeah. Have you ever read? There's a really good book called "Why Your 5-Year-Old Couldn't Do That," and it's
about modern art.
Yeah, and it's just all it does is go through all the most contentious pieces of modern art, right from the the sort of the porcelain urinal, that famous one,
and like Tracy Emin's
right
bed
right up to through like everything like that, and it just talks you through. Just like the criticism from people that would be like, it's just a fucking unmade bed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could have done that. And then, obviously it starts with the concept that obviously you didn't do that. And then it takes you through the actual, the work of the artist before, the stuff they've done after, the context they did it in, what they were planning and what they were trying to say with it. And it just takes you through the fact that the amount of thought that went into what you see is just a nice fucking unmade bed.
Yeah.
You know, is actually...
Remind me not to read that book. Just in case I go to by accident.
But it's a really good little it's a good coffee table book.
Yeah.
Guys. But yes,
I had a really, talking about that like Zeitgeist of Edinburgh, I had a really funny and bizarre conversation with Ed Byrne, because Ed Byrne essentially came up to the Fringe for 2 days to watch all the shows.
And the Zeitgeist of the year was his brother.
Dead brother.
Like there must have been four or five shows.
6.
So what?
John
Hastings.
Keyworth, Larry Deane. And there was he said he was up seeing 6. I think there was 6 about.
Wow.
And those are the only shows that he saw.
I'm going to do a show anti Paul Byrne. Just to clarify, Paul was actually a good mate of mine, and I loved the guy. But it'd be funny just to do one. Imagine doing an hour about how much of I fucking hated Paul Byrne. He'd lead and loved it.
Oh yeah,
that'd have been his favourite show.
Yeah,
but actually, it's interesting. I mean, it was fascinating to like you think, because people don't really. Again, it's so meta and insular comedy. No one outside of comedy would have known Paul was like so crucial behind the scenes for so many comedians over the years, not just obviously this year, but countless comedians over the years.
Well, Ed was saying next year he's going to be such a hack because he's going to be talking about getting diagnosed with ADHD and Paul Byrne dying.
Yeah.
It's all been done.
Yeah, mate, come on, it's not 2022, mate.
How did he die? Alcohol.
It was but it was a long history of alcohol-related issues and other things, and he'd been ill.
He was supposed to direct my show.
Was he?
Yeah, and then he didn't. And I had a plan.
Well, you got 3 stars at the top, mate.
Well, I thought what he would find the funniest is if I did win to go up and be like, Paul Byrne was supposed to direct this.
Yeah.
Didn't fucking need him anyway.
Exactly.
That would just be like so Paul to do that. But like,
it's interesting. But so what? Who was the other newcomers? What was the
Josh Jones got nominated.
Just to clarify for any listeners overseas who don't follow the Edinburgh Fringe, we've just been talking about this for so long. Vittorio got nominated for Best Newcomer.
Hey.
For you, who was the other ones?
Josh Jones.
Oh, I know Josh. He's a nice guy. I did a lovely weekend in. I I think Nottingham with Joel, maybe Birmingham. We did a nice weekend at Glee.
One of the Glees.
Late last year. We had a lovely weekend of just having a few beers.
He's great.
He's good company.
He's a good hang. Yeah. Josh, Emmanuel Sanubi.
Oh. Manuel, yep.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy as well, actually.
Emily Wilson, who's an American lady. She, I think she's very good friends with like Kat Cohen, who came over. Her, I haven't seen it, but she's very nice. And her show, I think, was about she went on the X Factor as a kid.
Oh, right, okay.
And about like
that'd be funny.
All that stuff.
Yes.
Who else got nominated for best? Lara Ricotte, who won?
I've heard
somebody told me they saw her show and she's like super charismatic. Like they said, like she's like one of the most sort of.
She has this amazing,
innate, funny,
silly, goofy.
Yes, that's what
like,
that's the way they described it to me, which I really like the sound of.
And what I really liked, and apparently I couldn't bring myself to watch anyone else's debut because I thought it would like freak me out too much. But what I've heard about Lara, and also in one of the interviews when she won, she said. It's really great that this has felt like a really thorough process because I'm so used to being like Mexican and hard of hearing. That, like I get a lot of stuff just to tick a box, but this feels like I actually earned it.
Okay,
Which is really nice of her to like acknowledge that in that way and be like, I'm sick of people using me as like a token of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's a good point. That's exactly my point I was making about the reviewer, isn't it?
She just worded it way better.
She just worded it clearly and concisely.
Amy Gledhill nominated for Newcomer.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen her do stand up, but I went to watch The Delightful Sausage.
Well, they got nominated for best show.
I know, that's great, but I saw their show at Soho Theatre and it was very funny.
And what
very
about
silly.
not the Newcomer, the main one? Who?
Alfie Brown, which I was chuffed about. Really,
I mean, he's sort of, he's been.
Jordan won that, yeah.
No.
Sam
won that. Sam Campbell.
What happened with Jordan then?
Nominated.
Oh, for Newcomer. No,
for main award.
Oh, sorry.
Was that because I didn't know Jordan had done a show before then, or did she just jump?
I think she'd done like music shows and like a few different things, and she's had like a TV show. I think there was a couple things that
pushed her into the main.
Her from,
yeah.
She did TVI last year, didn't she?
That does push.
That does exclude you from the Newcomer. You can't unless you're behind the desk. But Sean,
Alfie, Jordan. Who else is nominated for best? Delightful Sausage.
Yes.
Oh, flip me.
Larry. Yes.
Larry Dane.
Yeah.
Oh,
nice. It's a nice bunch.
It is good.
That's a bunch of guys.
Donuts.
It was me and Alfie were like essentially drinking buddies for the whole fringe as well. So it was dead nice.
He loves a beard.
Oh, Alfie was the most boozed up I've ever seen.
But he always does it. He does it this Melbourne, like he's just out every night. He's one of these like comedians that just has that
alcoholism.
Yeah. But I used to be able to do it, but now I just don't think I could do every night. I've not got it in me. I don't want to do it every night. Actually, I
think he has so many kids that when he's away,
and I suppose they weren't with him, were they?
No, they came up for a weekend.
Yeah,
and he took them to see a couple of shows, and I was like, "Oh, are you taking them to anything tomorrow?" And he was like, "The train station."
Yeah.
how many kids does Alfie have?
4, isn't it?
I didn't know he had 4 kids.
Yeah.
Bumper club.
And all within like 6 years, 7. I think I don't know. Donnie, his oldest one, can't be that old.
Yeah, Donnie, Margot, can't remember them. Becca.
And he lives in Manchester, does he?
No,
they live in London.
Yeah,
does he?
Yeah.
He lived in Manchester for a while, or Liverpool.
I don't think he just goes to Liverpool a lot.
Oh,
yeah, he's a big Liverpool fan.
Yeah,
his mum's from Liverpool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. His mum.
Yeah.
His mum was an actress, wasn't she?
Impersonator, actress.
Jan Ravens. Famous.
Spitting Image.
Spitting Image does all the other ones. Other ones, I don't know what it is. What's that one with Rory Bremner in that?
Rory Bremner show.
It's basically the one of the last 20 years that's done. Dead Ringers.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
I used to love a bit of Spitting Image.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, even though I didn't really
understand
the politics.
They brought it back.
They tried to bring it back. And even I've got mates that
Matt
voice
Ford
stuff
was doing
and write on it. But I'm not criticising them, but I just don't think that concept works nowadays.
Well, John O'Farrell isn't who founded it, like launched it when it first started. I sometimes play in a football match with him, and he's like, "Yeah, it's not great what they've done with that."
I mean, it's not. I think the show could be great, but I think it's more the time that we.
It was of its time.
Yeah, who's going to watch puppets now do comedy? I feel like just the world's moved on from that. People want just. I don't know. I can't imagine young people being like, "Oh, I want to watch that puppet comedy show."
And were young people watching it when the first one?
Yeah, in primary school.
But with the first one, it was satirical.
Really? I was, yeah.
Yeah, I was used to watch it.
Oh wow!
Oh no, so yeah, that's what I mean. Like it was political, and it was it felt quite anti-establishment.
Laugh at it, though, like Prince Charles. I suppose it was a bit of novelty then, wasn't it?
It was a novelty, but it also felt very satirical and anti-establishment. So you sort of felt like, this is fucking having a go at everyone. Whereas I don't know if I don't know if now young people are going to be like where they're going to watch their satire is going to be.
Well, because there's so much more you can get away with on YouTube and all those.
Exactly. People just
That's what I think about panel shows as well. Like those Sidemen and KSI and all. Like they're not as funny as comedians, but they're more like let off the leash. Comedians on Mock the Week.
I have never seen the Sidemen. I've just seen that name mentioned on.
Very funny guys.
Right. And what do they do? What
just
is
like
it?
guys hanging out.
KSI, Jake
KSI. I only know because
the boxing.
Does some boxing. I saw a boxing tweet.
I saw a football match between the YouTubers and the Sidemen at the Charlton Football Ground a few years ago. That was.
Yeah, Stephen.
They've been around for years, but a couple of them were like 35 or something.
Yeah.
Like my son must have been about 12 or something. He was like well into.
I need to watch some of this YouTube. Everyone's going on about
KSI, but it was good. They sold out the stadium.
Well, they're so much bigger than TV.
Yeah. Oh, they're huge. They sold out Charlton Football Ground.
Yeah.
Charlton don't sell out Charlton Football Ground. They don't.
That's such a funny way to put it.
I let him jump on the pitch. Like he was like, "Oh please," I was like, "All right," and I filmed it. And you see my son run down, he jumped over and he like dodged around the steward. And he
Did he get rugby tackled?
Got trampled?
No. He wasn't the only one who did it.
Oh, right.
Like there was a few doing it. And
he wasn't a streaker.
And I was like, go on then.
Go get your willy out.
I said to him, have your phone, because I lost him obviously. And then he had to ring me and meet up. It was funny, I got it on. It was funny the way he just dodged around the steward. The steward's trying to catch him.
That's so
And his dad's there filming.
Very funny of like a kid sidestepping a grown man.
Yeah.
Very, very
so
funny.
good. He was fast as well. I was proud.
Nice. We're taking Twyla to to Disneyland Paris.
Oh, nice.
In a couple
She'll
of months.
love it.
I'm going to love it. I never got to go to Disneyland.
Wow.
She's 2.25.
She's going to love it, isn't she?
She's going to fucking love it.
Is she a bit young, do you reckon, to appreciate?
Maybe, but she loves
the money. That is
but she's obsessed with Mickey Mouse.
Oh.
She loves Dumbo. She loves.
I love Dumbo.
Mermaid.
Dumbo's like my.
I'd never seen Dumbo.
It's a bit sad, that cartoon, though, isn't it?
It's so sad.
Very sad.
Yeah, initially, and then obviously it's nice at the end. But it's not really because he has to work in a circus. But let's not get into that.
Happy ending, getting that cage. You big head cunt.
But I'd never seen Dumbo until I watched it with Twyla about 6 months ago.
I had a little Dumbo toy from when I was born, and when I get I still have.
Isn't it a bit racist with the crows?
Oh man! It's definitely it's
problematic.
They do have a warning now at the start. At the start, it does warn you.
Reflects the views of the time.
Yes.
I always love that it reflected the views of the whites at the time.
Yeah.
It didn't reflect the views of everyone at the time.
It's true. Yes. But yeah, it's all that she loves all those old Disneys. Some of them we haven't ventured into some of the more mature ones, like we haven't got to like Aladdin or anything. But she loves Lion King actually.
Never seen Lion King.
Oh, it's a good one. That's one of my favourite. That was my first ever Disney film I watched when I was 14 years old. I'd never watched a Disney film when I was young. Wow. My parents were bad at being parents. So I had to sort of catch up. So now that's why I'm going to be well excited to go to Euro Disney.
I went to Disney Orlando when I was very, very young, and I felt so. Eeyore looked so sad that I went and gave him a hug. And I was terrified of the Little Mermaid.
Yep.
Why?
Because there's a new Little Mermaid out
Was
now.
she fit?
Yeah,
it's causing controversy
because she's black.
Yeah,
is
and
that what it is?
some people seem to
like
find it's weird that they've made a mermaid not white.
Oh, I saw it got like a million
girl who's
dislikes.
half fish. The issue they're stressing about is the fact that the half that isn't fish
should be a white fish.
What? Some people are fucking idiots, man.
Well, it's the same with like the new Lord of the Rings series. Everyone's like, elves aren't black.
Elves aren't real.
Elves aren't real, homeboy. Dragons aren't black.
So weird. People are so nerds. Are so fucking weird, aren't they?
It's like that. Not Downton Abbey. What was the big
Bridgerton?
There was black people in that.
Yeah.
And people were kicking off, weren't they?
Right.
There weren't black people around then.
But I don't know. It's Bridgerton. I presume is not a
It's not a historically accurate
historical documentation of the times.
It's like a farce and like a.
Oh, okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was based on true story. No.
Well, no, it's like based on a true period of time, but it's all very like heightened.
Yeah.
They're all fucking.
People should shut up though. Why do they
Yes,
give a
people
fuck?
should shut up.
I mean, that's my thoughts exactly.
Why do they care?
I know. It's just people. It's just people. I don't know if do they care?
No.
Or is it just fucking people just bored and want to have a ding dong online?
What was really nice, there's like a compilation of videos of young kids watching the trailer for the new Little Mermaid, and when the young black girls watch it, they're like, oh my god, she looks like me. Like that's it's the most wholesome like set of videos ever. And I'm like,
but the little white kids are like, what's this shit?
Boo! Boo! They're like sound like Millwall fans.
That's the point in it, isn't it? To kind of let people identify.
See themselves in it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I just think it's such a weird thing to kick off about when we're literally like every other Disney princess forever has been fucking.
There was that one frog,
white.
the one with the frog, the princess and the frog. She was black.
I've not seen.
Oh, fuck that. That's too far, man.
Fucking frog can have her, mate.
Dipsy from Teletubbies, he was black.
And also obviously Pocahontas.
Yeah.
But then the story
Lenny
of Pocahontas
Henry.
is actually really, the true story of Pocahontas is really
Asian.
bad. Yeah, so there was this little wave of ones that came, but before that, it was literally just
White,
honky central, wasn't it?
Pure
white.
honky.
So I just think it's so weird. People now go, "Well, you can't put a fucking black," and it's like just it's nice, mate.
It's for the
young
viewers,
black girls
isn't it?
Have someone represent them on screen.
And even the
Just not on my watch, yeah. Just not what.
You only watch the old white one.
Yeah. Only watch the old fucking black and white minstrel show.
even
Wizard of Oz.
What was the old what was the one the racist sitcoms like Alf Garnet and all that? It's got it on loop. I've got some Alf Garnet albums. Have I told you about this? When my uncle died when I was 15, my uncle Keith. I don't know why I said his name like that, but we cleared out his place and he had loads of old vinyls and no one else wanted them, and obviously I was 15 and into music, so I didn't, because there was loads of cool like rock ones and Motown and stuff like that, and in amongst the sort of the stack of rock and Motown and sort of Atlanta soul, there was some racially problematic vinyls like the Black and White Minstrel Show, like Alf Garnet sort of fucking tells it like sort of So I've just got this like, I think there's about three or four.
Alf Garnet,
it was, yeah. It was taking the piss out of that, but I think some people then latched onto it.
It's like Al Murray,
yeah.
But yeah, so I've got like 3 or 4 of these records in amongst my records that sort of, if somebody was skipping through, like, this is cool, and there's like Black and White Minstrel. It's purely a. It's a
homage.
Well, it's not even a homage. It's just sort of weird. I don't know how to.
It's weird that
it belonged to my uncle.
It's weird that you framed those ones and put them on the wall.
Put them in my
your front door.
in my basement with all my Nazi memorabilia. No, but it's but they're just a memory of my racist uncle.
R.I.P. The true king.
Racism.
We haven't talked about the dead queen. We're getting towards the end of the public bit. We should quickly talk about the dead queen.
Talk about our WhatsApp group as well.
We will talk about the WhatsApp group.
It was nice to hear there was nice messages. It was nice just getting
nice messages.
Yeah, people on our WhatsApp group were talking about your
show. Loads of people came to see it and were like, "Oh, you're that guy who's in the background of TVI."
Nice, lovely. But quickly, were you gigging last weekend during the period of Queen?
I was
passing?
opening for Dan Nightingale in Nantwich.
Okay. And
what? The Civic?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. They asked us to not talk about it, and I
said no.
Well, no, I could only because the 2 guys that run the gig there at the Civic Hall, we were like, we don't want to lose them.
Was it Mike?
Gig. Mike and John.
Yes.
Is that their names?
Yeah.
Really nice guys.
Lovely.
I haven't done the gig, but it's like supposed to be really, really nice.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's been around for ages, and we were like, look, I was actually in a way more fun to get on and be like, the venue have told us not to.
Yeah.
And She seemed like a nice woman.
Because I was at the Comedy Store. Well, I was actually meant to be at the Comedy Store on the Thursday. They cancelled the show very last minute.
Yes, this is interesting.
Because I was en route. I've left my house. I started walking down towards the tube station. My wife called me, said they've announced it. She's dead, and I did a joke, I went, yeah, no. So I was like, okay. So I quickly just then messaged the Comedy Store. I was like, what's happening? Because we knew she was dead. We were just waiting to announce
it. You guys must have like some journalist friends. All mine texted me going, we've all been called into emergency meetings.
I didn't. I got a couple of messages saying like she's definitely.
Were they waiting for Harry to get there?
I think they were just waiting for the family to be there for a united front. But so. It was an interesting one because I'm an absolute Republican, anti-monarchist. But I do have that weird thing where I didn't mind the Queen as a nice old lady.
I thought she was lovely.
So when my wife said she was dead, a part of me was like, oh, that's sad. Even though I then hope that it does begin the end of the monarchy.
I think it might because there's so much less goodwill for Charles.
Absolutely. And the fact that now there's talk that he's apparently today is talk that he's going to bring Andrew back into the fold and put him back on royal duty and stuff. Which, that'll really fuck them. So I don't think he's got the judgment of his mum. He's not a matriarch. But anyway, so the Comedy Store decided to cancel the Thursday. Very short notice, but fine. And then the Friday I was hosting. So I was first over the top. Yeah. And we were all backstage like, what's it going to be like?
And the store's an audience that might be upset about.
Well, it's quite it's quite a sort of, it's I'd say a more not mature is the wrong word. There's loads of young people, but it's a bit more, slightly more of a mainstream audience than the young sort of mad, pissed up, top secret crowd your sort of Essex Kent crowd that you get in up the creek or the boat or like every main big gig in London has got a slightly different audience. So I think we didn't know what it was going to be like, and then there was talk that we were going to it was mentioned from management maybe would you do some sort of round of applause? And I was like, no, let's not do that. Let's not make it weird. You know what I mean? So we decided just to see what happened, and it ended up being so funny. Like I went out at the top. And there definitely was a vibe in the room of, is he going to mention it?
Yeah.
And I just straight away like, oh guys, thanks for coming out on this totally normal weekend for comedy in London. That got a laugh. And I just went, I think you lot should be fucking ashamed of yourselves for coming out to laugh when our Queen is dead. And it got a massive laugh, and it was just fair game. We weren't ripping the shit, but it was so much. It was one of the most fun gigs I've ever done. Like the atmosphere was incredible. It's almost like this release of like, oh yeah, we can just laugh about whatever. Yeah, it was really funny.
I think as long as I think I was always trying to make fun of the people who were doing insane stuff, like those people who were going, oh look, that cloud looks like because she's white as well.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, people have lost their collective mind. So
and people leaving marmalade sandwiches at Buckingham Palace,
fucking donuts. Like it's so like some people just. I don't understand anyone who I understand people that sort of liked the Queen. I get it. That is absolutely fine. But people who like the monarchy, I do not understand at all. That makes no sense. Unless you're a billionaire, why would you possibly have any interest in the monarchy? It is a piss take.
It is weird.
It's a it's a stain on our society. It's
embarrassing.
Where we have hundreds of thousands of homeless people across the country, across the UK. Yeah. That they have
killing.
Countless.
It's a stain on the country.
You cannot cut me off there, man. Should we cut the public episode right at that moment? But while there are palaces, lying empty because that's where they just spend that part.
And there's no inheritance tax. Did you see that?
No inheritance tax.
Oh, no,
I do think
bullshit.
that's because technically
it would just go back to her.
Well, yeah, I mean, isn't it? I do think actually that is not a loophole just made for Prince Charles. I think it's something to do with the fact that they're technically state-owned, not personal-owned.
Right.
So it's something to do with that, I think. I don't think that is as black and white.
So he moves into Buckingham Palace, or did he live there anyway?
I don't know, actually.
Just changes rooms.
Well, he is.
Gets the big room.
Drags his bed.
He goes into the big bedroom.
TV in my room now.
Yeah. I think.
But he's moving. He said he's moving his offices to Buckingham Palace, and he's sacked a pile of staff from his old residence.
Well, this is the thing. I just don't think he's got the. The thing with Charles is there's a lot of bad. He's got loads of bad past, doesn't he?
Yeah.
What's he done?
Well, I think some people still don't like him for fucking over Diana. He basically was banging Camilla behind her back, and obviously when she found out, he got his mum to kill her.
This is still public episode, right?
I think we're now on Patreon.
This is breaking news episode.
So you got the Diana thing.
Got it here first.
I still think there's a big chunk of people that don't like him for what he did to Diana.
There's an interesting, I don't understand how people bring it together in their minds that they love Diana and love the Queen. I think that's a lot of people. But how could you possibly love both of those simultaneously?
Yeah, I know, it doesn't make any sense. But my mum was an Irish woman who loved Diana. Since we've been clearing out the flat and stuff, I'm finding boxes.
Diana.
But I've found boxes of just newspaper cuttings about Diana.
Wow.
Like she was a psychopath, planning to murder her. But
there's a good Christopher Hitchens documentary on YouTube about Diana. He didn't like her.
Really?
It's interesting.
What was his thoughts?
He just thought that the country mourning over her, and she was, basically Kim Kardashian kind of vibe. She did nothing for anyone.
She did, is that weird?
Kind of flirted.
I suppose there is a couple of things she did that, when you put them in the context of the time, were quite big. Like when she shook that guy with AIDS' hand.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, well, because that doesn't sound like a big thing.
His dick.
I want to do something good, mate. Nosh him off.
Get on your knees, princess.
But no, I mean, at the time when that was right still when we were in sort of people were scared to sit on toilet seats in public toilets because they thought they'd catch AIDS off it.
It was just so unknown.
So
still scared now, though.
Yeah, for different.
Put tissue around it.
Monkeypox.
Oh yeah.
But I think there was something she did that on paper were quite big, but she still was she was a royal. Fucking they're all inbred and shit.
She was a sweet ting as well.
She was fit in it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that blows my mind.
That school race, parents' race, was quite good, wasn't it?
What was that?
She ran in the parents' race at
the mum's race at a sports day.
She won it, didn't she?
Yeah, of course. It's a fix.
Yeah.
But comparing her to Camilla, just on that is such a drop off.
Queen commit? No, it's Camilla, Queen consort.
So Camilla's not done anything bad though, is she?
Well, apart from banging Charles behind Princess.
But wasn't Diana doing that with that rugby player? Do you remember that?
Will Carling.
Will Carling was slamming the princess.
And obviously, there's talk of Harry, not being Charles's son.
Yeah,
it looks a bit like that.
But apparently, the Camilla thing was ongoing. That was throughout their relationship from early doors. There's a story that he banged Camilla on his wedding day with Diana. And so them stories.
My man Charlie, the king is back. That's what I've been calling him King for years.
Yes, King.
But so that's I think there's the group of people that don't like him about the Diana stuff.
Yeah.
Then there's a conservative people that don't like him because he's an environmentalist.
Bizarre.
Very outspoken about the environment, about climate. And he talks openly about climate change, and it's the worrying aspects of it. And then there's also there is obviously that group of people that think know about his he was best mates with fucking Savile and all that, wasn't he? He's covered up loads of pedo stuff. There was Savile. What was it? His godfather, Lord Mountbatten, was a known sex offender.
His brother,
and there was also that priest, not the archbishop, but he was one of the high priests in the Church of England. That he helped sort of basically hush up a lot of sex crimes.
Yeah.
So he's and I don't
not all bad.
I don't think he was doing it because he loves pedos. I think they were just some of his closest circle happened to have been pedophile rapists.
Yeah.
And he helped to
it happens
use his influence. So I think there's there's a lot of different angles that people dislike him for. Yeah. So I don't think he's gonna. I think there's gonna be growing discussions about should we start thinking about this as a concept. Sure. Which would be good. It'd be fucking exciting if we got rid of it. Imagine we had a referendum on getting rid of the monarchy.
I think fans of the royal family will stay fans, though, wouldn't they?
Oh yeah, I mean they could literally fucking fuck a kid
start beheading
on the
people.
roof of Buckingham Palace, and there'd be people going, well, you know, they sort of, I don't, they bring in a lot of money for tourism.
People were so angry at that Scottish guy for shouting and for heckling Prince Andrew on the Royal Mile. It's like, hey, who hasn't been heckled on the Royal Mile?
I've come back from the fringe, mate. Got heckled everywhere. What I